So yeah, when we look at movies, I mean, you're looking at movies and interpreting what you're seeing through your own lens and your own life experience, right? So it only makes sense that the way that black people and the way that white people look at the same movie are very, very, very different.
Well, especially if it's a bunch of white people casting black actors in hair and makeup in different cultural scenes, and they're white and they have no clue. Like, I like to think of myself as, pretty woke. I'm an ally. I like to think I'm pretty self-aware. I like to look out for, my privilege. And I read this thread on Twitter, and I was like, dang, I had no idea about most of this because I'm a white person, and I just see stuff through the lens. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm white.
You're like a super white person.
I'm like the color mayonnaise. I'm like, if you look directly at me,
white.
you'll go blind. I'm that level white.
Our producer Katie has joined us for this also. Okay.
So it all started when Roxanne Gay, who is on Twitter, she tweeted, "Why are so many wigs for black actors so terrible? Where's the breakdown in the process? This is totally avoidable." And then Ava DuVernay, who is a really high-level director, tweeted back or retweeted and said, "Not enough non-black directors hiring black department heads to do the job. Not enough black stylists being pulled into the union. Not enough black directors."
Katie and Mo were immediately shaking their head yes when you were talking about the wig thing. It's something that I've never even noticed before.
Yeah, but what happened with that new Tyler Perry movie? You would think that would have been...
You're right, because that was a fail too, and that should have been better.
Okay. What was that? What was the Tyler Perry movie?
A Fall from Grace, which is Tyler Perry's new movie on Netflix. One of the big complaints was the wigs.
The wigs were terrible.
Oh, yeah?
They were terrible.
And he made a statement on that, right? He's like, I pump out movies so fast, I don't have time to find the perfect wig. It's about the acting, people.
That's the thing. It's like with black actors, even in black movies, this happens because black people refer to it as it's never enough black people at the table. So behind the movie, even though it may be a black face behind making the movie, there's still not enough black people that go into actually developing the characters in the movie.
I'm curious, Kristen, did you notice it, excuse me, in the movie?
Oh my God, yes.
You did?
Yes.
Even as a white person, you're like, oh, that's bad.
Oh, yes.
Like, he was like falling off at one point.
It was like kind of curling up a little bit. I'm like, what is going on?
Like, a lot of black actors have to style their own hair on movie sets,
Really?
which is ridiculous. But so Michael Harriot found those tweets, and he's a senior writer at TheRoot.com, and he did a series of tweets about all the things in movies that are clearly they're about black characters, but clearly done by white people. And I want to put them to Katie and Mo and see how many of these are true, because it blew my mind. So the first one is, when a character dies and they have a graveside funeral. Black people don't do this. I'm currently halfway through a Netflix series where they have a whole gospel choir singing at a graveside. They don't even have a tent or chair set up. And why do all black movie choirs have robes? Robes are for special occasions. Maybe all movie church scenes take place during pastors' anniversaries?
That's a fact for me, for both. Like, I have personally never been to a graveside funeral in my life, and I've been to a ton of funerals, and every time I've watched, it just happened on Power, matter of fact, which is a black show predominantly watched by black people, and when someone died, they had the graveyard funeral, the graveside, they got the umbrellas, it's raining, it's birds flying everywhere. I've never seen that. Like, every black funeral I've ever been to has been in a church, and when choirs get together and sing at black churches, they never come out with, the robes every Sunday. Like, that's not a thing. Most of the time, they'll wear whatever they want. On special occasions, they put robes on.
So after the funeral, there isn't a ceremony at the gravesite?
You'll go. That you'll do. Like, you'll go to the gravesite, but the funeral is always held in the church. Like, typically, you don't just go to the graveside funeral and then have that there. Like, I've never seen that.
Nor have I.
But if you do go to a graveside funeral, there's always a green tent.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone's under a tent. These people are just sitting open in the air, and I don't know. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that.
The chairs set up, and the people pull up and roll down the window and look like that. Yeah, I've never seen that. No.
Apparently, writers and directors have no idea what black women do with their hair. Where do they find these fictional black women who frolic in pools, take showers, and sleep without bonnets or shower caps?
Exactly. Like, if I jumped in a pool right now, I would come out looking like a poodle. But whenever a black woman jumps in a pool, she just comes out looking refreshed and her hair is intact. And that is a lie.
I have personally never seen a black woman shower without something on her hair. Really? I have never seen that. No, really? Black women always have a bonnet, shower cap, something on when they take a shower, because the black women don't like when their hair get wet. So then when you see them in the shower, just letting the water fall in it, no, that doesn't happen.
That happened in A Fall from Grace.
It did.
See?
Tyler don't care anymore.
I don't care.
Because I remember you sitting next to me and you were like, what the hell?
All right, number 3. And again, these are tweets from Michael Harriot. Don't get me started on scenes at black nightclubs. Why is everybody dancing so hard with their hands in the air? You mean to tell me nobody two-steps?
Now that's, in my experience, that's kind of true. You will still have like the group of black people that turn up and they will like get busy, but there's always another group of black people that judge them and just two-step from the corner.
Oh, really?
That's typically what it looks like in a black club.
Yeah, because anytime I go to a club, there'll be like the hype women in the middle, and then
Exactly.
there'll be a circle of guys who just head bobbing, just like, okay, all right, just jamming, just keeping it calm, cool, and
You
collected.
cool with it. Like it's always a cool crowd. Whereas in movies, they got it like the whole club is just boom, 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 boom.
Everybody's turned.
Yeah, everybody's turn. It's not like
There's
that.
suddenly a synchronized dance. You're like, when did everybody learn this flash mob dance?
Why do black movie gangsters in movies always talk to the cops in gangsta ebonics? Every black person in America knows to use their code-switching white voice when talking to cops.
That's a fact.
Especially during a murder investigation.
The what switching?
It's the code-switching white voice.
Yes,
So
it is.
every time in a movie when a cop is dealing with a gangster, the gangster continues to be a gangster when talking to the cop. Most smart gangsters don't act like that. They know to put their white voice on. It's just like when a black person is trying to get a job, you completely switch up your voice, your tone, everything. You put on a different voice.
And anybody knows that if you watch the first 48. Like,
I don't
Yes.
watch it.
that's real.
Yes.
The first 48, it's real murder investigations. Like, that's a fact.
In the streets, it's like, yeah, son, we bloods. And when the cops get them in that room, sir, I don't know anything about a crime, sir. Right? Every single time.
All right, this next one, I actually am really intrigued to know the answer. So speaking of which, you can't just show up at a black character's house, knock on the door and say, may I come in to talk to you about the unsolved crime? First of all, no. Secondly, the chances of someone answering the door when white people are outside is 50-50 at best. And yes, we can tell when white people are at the door. Y'all's knock sounds different.
Yeah.
Is that
What?
true?
Yeah, it's very true.
100%. It's more proper. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just 1-2, a 1-2 or a doorbell.
What is it? What is a knock that you trust?
Like, it's a rhythm. Black
Yeah.
people kind of knock with rhythm. Like, sometime it'll be like a,
Yeah.
like, or it'll be, like, black people just kind of, it's a weird thing. I don't know.
It's always a beat.
It's like a beat to it. Yeah, like, yeah. So when you get like if you either get like or if you get the really loud, like you're not answering that.
Nope.
Right.
That's either the police or a white person. We have no interest in answering that door.
I'm not answering this one. It's definitely someone's in trouble.
Not at all. And we never let you in the house. The black person will always say, do you have a warrant? We're not letting you in the house. Like, that's the one right we know we have. When someone knocks on the door, do you have a warrant? And if not, no, you can't come in this house.
Also, smart or talented black kids in the movies always get involved with the wrong crowd, in quotations, and because of peer pressure. This is a thing that white people believe. In poor black neighborhoods, the kid with the chance of getting out are usually protected by the neighborhood.
Really?
That is very true.
Really?
That is very true. It is a stigma in movies that when the kid is doing well, he has a very good like talent, that they'll try to pull him in and get him, and they don't. Like, the drug dealers will actually protect him because they see him as an investment, that when he makes it, he'll remember that we protected him, and then that will come back to us. There's always like a golden child in every hood.
It's that, and then it's also you don't want to get involved in this. Like, so even if it's a drug dealer situation, they don't want that kid that they see that's going to do great in their future to get involved. So like, no, you stay away from this. We got you. Don't worry about it. So,
Name me 2 movies where that is the plot of the movie.
Blindside.
Blindside, All American. Think about All American. We
Oh,
just talked
yeah,
about that.
yeah,
You see
yeah,
how
the
they
TV
keep
show.
Spence out of trouble.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
that's the thing.
Blindside, all the drug dealers were trying to take Big Mike down.
Yep.
That made me so mad.
No, I was talking about the other way. The plot line where they're trying to
Lift
help
him up?
them. Yeah, lift them up. Yeah.
All right. So I've seen white characters put on lipstick, hair gel, perfume, and even brush their teeth. I've never seen a black person apply lotion.
Yes!
How are they not ashy?
Yes!
that's the first thing we do after you get out the shower.
First thing.
You put on some cocoa butter all the way from head to toe.
Yes.
Okay, for the record, I want to be invited to the cookout because every time I knock on a door, I do it in some kind of song. And 2, whenever I get out of the shower, I put on lotion.
Yeah.
I want to get invited to the cookout.
We're invited to all the cookouts in America.
Come on,
KK.
come on.
Cassie, how many more of these are there?
There's one more, and
Okay.
I think it's really important to notice. So this last one's very subtle, but it's this guy, Michael Harriot's biggest pet peeve in the entertainment industry. If you haven't noticed it, you'll never be able to not notice it after hearing this. In modern movies, there's one subtle trope that's almost used exclusively by white directors. If a scene takes place where black people live, during the establishing shot, there is a subtle indicator that subconsciously informs the audience that they are now in, quote, the hood. Rap music playing in the background.
That is a fact.
Yep. That and a mechanic shop.
That is a fact. Yes.
The Bert Show.